to offer information, resources, and connect with our students and any other students within the university. We have a packed schedule of representatives to offer information regarding campus resources. But before we get started, I'll pass it over to Jade Yuen, who can review a few housekeeping reminders.
Hello, everyone. And again, welcome to Free Advice Day. We're glad you could all join with us this afternoon. I just wanted to review a few housekeeping tips and reminders that you can navigate during this Zoom webinar with us. So the first thing is, please be patient with us as this is our first time that we're doing a live Zoom webinar panel style. So there could be some connection issues or technical difficulties that happen throughout. So just again, please be patient with us as we are learning alongside all of you. We also wanted to go over some Zoom functions that you have the ability to participate in as an attendee. At the bottom of your Zoom screen, you will see that there is a chat box as well as a Q&A box. So those are ways that you can communicate with us throughout the Zoom webinar. As you hear the different panelists talk about these student resources, if you have a follow-up question, you are more than welcome to submit it in the Q&A box, and we will do our best to get it answered throughout the presentation or towards the end. We just ask that if you do submit a comment in either the chat box or the Q&A box, please make sure that it is appropriate since we are in a public forum. And again, we will do our best to get to all questions. If we're not able to get to your question throughout the presentation, we have your email addresses because you have logged into the Zoom webinar. So we will be providing a follow-up email after today with any additional feedback, resources, and unanswered questions. So stay tuned for the Q&A portion at the end. Like I said, if you're watching this as a recorded webinar, then we will be providing our email addresses at the end so that you can connect with us that way, so we can provide you with the follow-up information. And then last but not least, we as UNF students, we would highly encourage you to continue to check your UNF email. As new updates become available to students, that is the official way that UNF will be communicating with all of you. Along with checking your email, all UNF students should have been notified about the UNF COVID-19 education course. So all UNF students must complete this course no later than this Friday, August 14th. And you can complete this course through your MyWings account by clicking on your Canvas site. So we also wanted to put a plug-in for that as well. So again, there's the Q&A and the chat box, so feel free to utilize them during this Zoom webinar. I'm going to pass things back to Patti, who will be introducing our panelists.
Thank you, Jade. And if you're just joining us, thanks for coming. And we do have a packed session today, so please feel free to submit questions through the chat. First up, we have Maggie Brown with Student Academic Success Services, also known as SASS. And Maggie, I'll let you take it away.
Great. Hi, everyone. I hope you're doing well. So let me share my screen. So my name is Maggie Brown, and I am an academic support coordinator for Student Academic Success Services, and we coordinate all of the opportunities that we have for supplemental support for our students throughout the semester. So we're going to talk a little bit about what those are today. So the first is, how can SASS help you? So we have lots of free resources that students can access during the semester. The three that I'm going to highlight today are academic coaching, peer tutoring, and supplemental instruction. So we'll go into each of those in a little bit of detail. Academic coaching is good for all students, no matter what your major is. These are one-on-one coaching appointments with a student academic coach on a variety of topics that can help you become a more successful student. So these academic coaches are typically upperclassmen students who have done well in all of their gen ed classes and really focus on time management, note-taking, study skills, and all of those things needed to be successful. All appointments for fall 2020 will be virtual. So on our website, you can make an appointment for any of the topics listed on the screen. You don't have to do all of them. You can do as many of them as you want. And we try and continue to pair you with the same academic coach so that you can build a relationship with them and they can become really helpful in your success as a student at UNF. The second thing we have is peer tutoring. So peer tutoring is going to be virtually available in one-on-one and open lab settings. So we currently have peer tutoring for biology, chemistry, world languages, mathematics and statistics, computer science, and accounting and finance. So it's all going to be through Zoom, and all of those Zoom links are on our website, and the schedules can be found on the SASS website. We typically offer tutoring Monday through Friday, and we have some Sunday and late evening options for people who study and work at different times. Our peer tutors are really taught not to re-lecture or re-teach concepts, but to help you get those prerequisite skills and to keep you understanding material that you might not have been able to connect in class. They're focused on helping you have those light bulb moments. The third opportunity that we have for students throughout the semester is supplemental instruction. These are group study sessions held by students that have been previously successful in a specific class. SI sessions occur 3 times a week for supported courses, and all sessions are going to be held via Zoom this fall. SI is voluntary, so it's never a requirement to attend SI sessions. SI is specific to a course section, so you have an SI leader that attends your course with your professor, so you know that the material they're teaching is closely aligned to what you're doing in class, and that they're in constant communication with the professor to provide you with the best support. SI is held throughout the entire semester, so it starts at the second week of classes and goes all the way till finals week, so it can really be a consistent area of support. And then SI is for everyone, no matter what kind of student you are. If you're used to getting all A's, if you're struggling a little bit, SI is for you. We find that we have the best SI sessions when students of all different learning types come together and are able to help one another at different ability levels. The schedule for which SI classes we're supporting with the certain professors can be found on our SASS website as well. So we have some tips for success for all students. One is to seek help early. So at the beginning of the semester, start thinking about what are areas that you might need to support your schedule in, and how can you make time for those. We will also want you to seek help often. So if you're in a class that you know is going to be a hard one for you, don't wait until right before the exam or right before a big project to get help, but seek help all along the way. Also, check for support offerings at the beginning of the semester. So the QR code below on the screen is actually going to take you to our website where we have all of our different support options listed. And so it's going to tell you which of your classes you have tutoring available, SI available, different things like that, and what the hours are for those type of options. This QR code is also going to be included in the email that you receive following this webinar. So if you don't scan it now, that's totally okay. But we encourage you to look at those at the very beginning, so that even if you aren't struggling with a class in the beginning, when it comes to maybe a harder section later on in the semester, you already know where you can go to get the support that you need. If you have questions, we have people in our office dedicated to answering them. So you can send us an email at sass@unf.edu, or you can call our office. Those are the 2 best ways to get in contact with us throughout the semester. But we want to help you find the kind of support that you need. So even if it's just, hey, this is the class I'm in, I don't know where to start, we want to help you get connected with the people that are going to support you. So we hope to see you at tutoring or SI or in an academic coaching session this semester, and we are glad that you're here at UNF.
Thank you, Maggie. I especially liked the Sunday and late evening options for peer tutoring. I thought that was really helpful, and seeking help early. That's such a key. So I appreciate the great information. Next up, we have Dan Feinberg and Stephanie Race with the UNF Thomas G. Carpenter Library. Take it away.
Hi, everyone. Bear with me for a second. I'm just going to share my screen. My name is Daniel Feinberg. I am the online learning librarian, and I'm also the liaison for the entire College of Education with one other librarian. However, you will see me most likely if you have any kind of course, or if you have any dealings with like wanting to get resources or whatever it is, because that is my job and I'm here to help you. So, and I also have a degree in education, 2 of them. So basically this is all I'm going to tell you. Stephanie and I have broken down this session into 5-minute sessions so that you get as much possible information as possible. I'm here to tell you the online portion. First off, if you haven't used the online library at UNF, if you are new, if you have been here before, either way, you should remember a few things. First, always, when you get to unf.edu/library, always start off by going to this menu where it says library. You're going to then go to, I apologize, you see remote access. And you have to do this every time off campus. Why? Because this is the only way you get full access to resources that are available to you as students, staff, and even faculty. So your professors are even going to have to do this. All you're going to do, you'll see this login button, right? N number and password. That is the N number from your OSPRI card and your UNF password, which gets you into your MyWings account or your email. I believe mine's already triggered, so all I'm going to do is click login, and it will bring you back to the screen. I know that's not exciting, but what it tells you is this. You already know now that you are logged in and you don't have to worry about having to continuously log in over and over. I'm going to show you that page one more time. For those of you who may be majoring in ASL, or maybe you're a student who has a differing learning modality, when you go into that remote login access, or even if you just want to remember how to do it, I have a video here that that is captioned. It is ADA compliant, and it basically goes through just those steps. The main thing I want you all to know is when you come to the UNF library, there is one search bar called, ironically, the one search bar that is going to search almost every database that the library has. And it's amazing, really. If you have an education, an English class, or a composition class, a history class, this is usually, as a freshman, as a sophomore, you'll get directed to. But what I want you to see instead is find databases on the right here. The reason I'm pointing this out is that most of you, once you get past that first semester even, and you start working in a classroom, or you're asking for pedagogical or curricular materials, if you go to all subjects, and I know I'm doing this quickly, so thankfully this is recorded, you can scroll down to education, and all of the major databases that you'll need to basically complete your course, even if you're a graduate student, are Education Source and ERIC, EBSCOs, which is basically the Education Research Information Center, which obviously I can tell you now, most of you, even if you've heard of it, you don't know about it, because this is a government database that was created in 1967. So why am I saying this? A, you'll know you're on the right page because you'll see this lovely picture of me and my colleague, April Price. And all of these databases are available to you and really anyone at UNF. But the reason I'm pointing all these out to you is because this is like the key, because when you start doing research, and you're going to probably see me in one class or another throughout your course, even though it's online or in person, but that is your key. Those are the main things I want to talk about. But the other thing I do want to point out real quickly is if you have any questions, you have one other option. Well, not one, but if you're an online student and you're never going to be on campus, you can get help from any librarian. So by going to students and then scrolling down to research consultations, what this means is not that you're going to get a lecture from me. Like if you sign up with one with me, that's not what it is. So all you're going to do is you're saying, I identify that I'm from the College of Education, and all of a sudden, this is my calendar. But guess what? All of these other librarians' calendars are all there, including the person you're about to hear from after I leave, Stephanie Race, who is also an educator. And all you're going to do is you're going to click the time, you're going to click the appropriate thing that works for you. You fill out the form as much as possible. Obviously, it's going to be Zoom right now because of COVID, but all you're going to do is tell me what you want to learn about or tell the librarian, confirm the appointment, and guess what? you now have one great thing. You have at least a half hour to an hour with a librarian whose sole purpose is to support your learning. Now, we want you to try and figure out your assignment, but if you have research that you're really stuck on, contact us. That's why I'm here. That's why I am a librarian. If you have any questions about anything, I'm running out of time, not because of any other reason, that I want to make sure that all this wealth and great information you get is there. But just know that if you have any questions at any time, all you have to remember really is Dan, because luckily I'm the only Dan in the library, so you can't miss me. But all of these resources, please, I encourage you, explore this website. The more and the faster you do it, the more benefited you are. And lastly, I will say this last thing is that don't be afraid to reach out to a librarian, especially during COVID, because even professors are dealing with like having to figure out how to teach online, how to do all of these things. And in Canvas, which if you don't know what that is, that's where all of your courses are going to be hosted. I actually understand all of this because I work with Canvas specifically. So I can already tell you, get familiar with this because it's just going to benefit you. And that's all the library ever wants to do. And now I'm going to turn it over to Stephanie so that she can tell you, since she's on campus right now, what is available to you on campus. So thank you so much for your time. And I hope if you have nothing else, know that you can reach out to me even after today, even if you have a simple question. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Dan. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And so while that's coming up, just want to reiterate what Dan said. Really, our goal for you for today is to know that as a library, we're here to support you. A lot of our services have moved remote, but you can get help. You can still get assistance. So I want to talk a little bit about what's available to you on the ground here in the building and how you can get access to other services. The library is open. We reopened on Monday. This week we're open 8 to 5 and we'll resume longer hours starting on Monday the 17th when classes resume. And you can always find from the library's webpage, you can always find the library's hours at the bottom of the page. So it's got today's hours. And then if you wanted to know what hours are going to be next week, you can just click on library hours and they'll come up. Also on the bottom of the screen here are ways to get help. So Dan talked about making an appointment with a librarian, and I highly encourage you to do that. It's a chance for you to have a one-on-one time with a librarian. And what I always tell students is spend some time trying to figure it out yourself. After 30 minutes, 45 minutes, it's time to go out and ask for help, because your faculty member isn't trying to teach you to be a librarian. They're trying to teach you to be a researcher and how to analyze that information. So come to us for help with that. So you can make an appointment, but if you've got a simple question, maybe you want to know if the library has a book, or you can't get access to an article, or just about anything. You need to write a citation and you've got a question. You can call us, you can text us, you can email us, and over on the right-hand side of the library's page is a chat. You can actually chat live with a librarian as well. So there's a lot of ways to get assistance from us. The building is currently open. We are currently only open to UNF students, faculty, and staff. So you as a student are welcome to come in the building. However, if you have a friend who goes to school somewhere else and you want to bring them, unfortunately right now that can't happen. We are socially distancing, so we're limiting access to students. You do have to have your current UNF ID, so you need a valid ID to swipe in. Without an ID, you cannot get in the building. We are socially distancing. We are requiring masks. I'm in the building and I have my mask with me at all times, and we are getting a heck of a lightning storm. And then we're socially distancing, no food and drink in the building. I think those are all the new rules. I feel like we have a lot of new rules, but it's going to be good. We have added a ton of new chairs. So if you're a returning student, when you come back, you will discover that there are a lot, even though you have to stay 6 feet away apart from each other, we do have a lot of new tables and chairs in the building to help make it possible to have more students than we thought we would. Other services though in the building that you want to know about. Dan talked about the research consultations. It's everybody's favorite service here. But we also have group study rooms. And if you are familiar with group study rooms, oh yeah, sorry about that. So under students, the group study rooms are currently off because we're not really open for study. When they reopen on Monday, you can make an appointment for a study room for either 1 or 2 people. Again, socially distanced, you can only have 2 people in that space. But these are a good place. If you need a quiet place to go and take an exam, you need a place with a door and your dorm is loud, or you don't have a good place in your where you're living, the group study rooms are a good place for that because they will be quiet and there will be a door and you can make reservations for those. The new process for group study rooms, you will make an appointment to use the study room, and once you get here, you will check into the study room. So that's a new process we have. Anybody here can help with that. Because of the limited capacity in the building, you will also be able to reserve computers, and that's really new for us. That will also launch next week. And the reserving, you're kind of reserving a seat. So just like you can reserve a study room, you'll be able to reserve a computer. You'll reserve it, and then again, you'll have to check into it when you arrive in the building. If you need a laptop, you'll reserve those through ITS. The library makes them available, but you're checking them out through ITS. And in September, we have a new service. You guys are the first people I've actually said this out loud to. We got a grant to provide new audio visual equipment, and I think some of you may find it really useful for some of your classes. And so there will be a variety of different kinds of audio and video recording devices, cameras, microphones, those kind of things that you'll be able to check out as a student. And then the final thing that I want to mention as I wrap up my time is that for our education students, one of the things we acquired over the summer was a new collection of K-12 textbooks. It's still, they're still actually coming in, but we have a good collection of K-5 English textbooks, English and math textbooks. We have science books, social studies and history kind of texts. So if that's something you need for a class, we do actually have those physically in the building. So it's just an overview. What I would say is I would reiterate what Dan said, make an appointment with a librarian. Come in and chat with us if you've got a question. If you've got questions, please come and ask. Please come and ask. And I'll stay around, so if there are questions later, I can help field those. Thank you.
Okay, that was a lot of great information. I'm like jotting down notes because I'm learning as as both of you are talking. I mean, I've got like a bullet that Dan's my man. I've got, the group study rooms that your hours are 8 to 5, but you'll have longer hours come the 17th. I love the group study room idea, reserving computers now, the K through 12 textbooks, the audio visual rental equipment. I mean, there's just so much. So I appreciate both of you providing all of that information in just such a short, quick time. So thank you. Okay, so we are going to move on, and we are super fortunate to have Dr. Malec talk with us next from the UNF Counseling Center. So Dr. Malec, I'll turn it over to you now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome today. Again, my name is Dr. Michael Malec. I've been at the Counseling Center for 30 years as one of the counselors. I'm also the Associate Director of the Counseling Center for the last 10 years. I'm going to provide you with a little bit of an overview of the Counseling Center services. They've changed a little because of the coronavirus situation, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. What hasn't changed is that all our services are free, confidential, and voluntary. Free in that you just have to be a student who's taken at least 1 credit during the semester to use our services. Confidential in that we realize that counseling can be anxiety provoking, and we ask you to come to the center and oftentimes talk about very private things and very personal things. So we want to honor the students and make them sure that what we talk about in the counseling center stays in the counseling center and is private. It's voluntary in that the counseling center, we don't do any mandatory counseling. Voluntary in that I often tell students, if they don't know whether they are interested in counseling or not, come to the counseling center one time, try a session, If it's not for you, you don't think it's for you, you don't have to come back. Nobody's going to follow up or chase you down or anything like that and make you come back to counseling. In terms of the services that we provide at the counseling center, we provide individual counseling, we provide group counseling, we provide emergency triage or unscheduled walk-in sessions for people who might be in crisis. That's changed a little, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. And we also provide medication evaluations and management for students who sometimes students, depending on what they're presenting with, may be candidates for medication or may benefit from medication. We have a psychiatric team headed by a psychiatrist who's there about 6 hours a week. And then we have 2 nurse practitioners whose certification in their nurse practitioner degree, their certification is in psychiatric medicine. Those 3 spend all their time just seeing students, doing an initial evaluation to determine if they're a good candidate for medication and what that medication might be. And if the student chooses to go with the medication, then the psychiatric team will continue sessions with them to follow up to see if there are side effects or see how effective the medication is. Our groups that we do 2 different types of groups. We do a process group. It's a very popular group. We've been offering it for many years. It's called Understanding Self and Others, and really the whole group is just about that. It involves usually about 10 students who sign up in the beginning of the semester, attend the group sessions weekly for the rest of the semester. Once we get to 10 people, no other students can enter into the group. And the group, even though it has a couple counselors who lead it every week, it's kind of intended to be a group led by the students themselves in terms of what they talk about that week and what's discussed. Sometimes the best groups the counselor may be there and say hardly anything, the whole group. The intention, again, is through the discussions with others in the group and sharing information and sometimes revealing some things that you may feel are kind of risky or that other people may not know about you at times. You learn about yourself, you learn about others, and it's a very popular group. Oftentimes we'll have someone get into one group in a semester, jump into next semester into another similar group with different people, and sometimes be in groups for 1-2 years at a time. We also offer psychoeducational groups. Psychoeducational groups are just kind of that. They're more didactic, in which the counselor may provide information about a certain topic or educate students about a certain topic and coping and things like that. The individual counseling are 1-hour sessions. Usually we see students every couple weeks, sometimes every 3 weeks. Depends on the student sometimes in terms of their schedule. We try to accommodate their schedule. Our counseling is brief therapy, brief oriented, meaning it's not intended to be something weekly for the whole year. It's tended to be something that students get 6 sessions a semester. So it's intended to be something short-term and brief. The unscheduled crisis sessions before the coronavirus situation, we always had a counselor at the counseling center who was available, not scheduled to see clients, so that if somebody walked in crisis at the time, a counselor could see them. With the coronavirus situation, we no longer, all our services are online currently and will be so through this semester at least. So our individual counseling is done through Zoom or telephone. The same with the groups are done through Zoom. Same with the medication appointments. And the unscheduled crisis appointments or the walk-in crisis appointments, in the past we've always had a contract with a company called Protocol. They were there when we were closed. They would be available after hours, weekends, and holidays for students who wish to have a counseling session. They could telephone this service, which is a national service. They have a master's level PhD counselors. You would call the number of protocol. You would get to talk to a counselor. So now, if there's a crisis, if you have a crisis, you're in a crisis situation, we've now contracted with Protocol 24/7, so that if you need to talk to a counselor, you can call the counseling center at 620-2602. You'll get a recording, and one of the things on the recording will say, if you want to talk to a counselor right away, you press 2 on your phone and it connects you to this national service, and you will have a counseling session with one of their counselors. So that's how the protocol helpline works. And again, it's 24/7. It's a helpline in that we encourage students to use it. It's not something that a student has to be suicidal or a student has to be in crisis necessarily. We call it a helpline because you could be having some anxiety on a weekend, you're at home by yourself, you wish you had a counselor to talk to, you're welcome to use this service. In terms of people coming to the counseling center, we see people with an array of presenting issues. The top 2 issues for people coming to the counseling center seem to be anxiety, whether it be anxiety attacks, it could be school anxiety, it could be generalized anxiety, social anxiety. About 67% of the students who come to the counseling center, that's their main presenting issue. The second most common presenting issue is mood-related or depression, and about 57% of the students coming to the counseling center for services are presenting with that as their primary issue, mood or depression. Other things we see students for, again, we see them for an array of things: trauma, grief, self-esteem, relationship issues, mild to moderate eating concerns or body image issues, other issues besides that I haven't named. And we also see people for personal growth, meaning I just want to become better at something, I just want to improve. Misconceptions about counseling is that the student has to be weak to come to counseling, or a person has to be weak to come to counseling. Another misconception, or it might be that a person is crazy and has to go to counseling. Those are myths and they're not true. In fact, a person needs to be really pretty strong and courageous to come to counseling. Again, you're talking to somebody you've not talked to before about very personal things. That can be very anxiety-provoking at first, and it takes a lot of courage. And just to kind of put that in perspective, we see, I think it was last year, we saw 1,800 different students coming to the counseling center to use our services. Oftentimes a student will come and they think, I'm the only person that has problems that of a nature that they need to come to the counseling center. Not true. Again, 1,800 students use the counseling center for a variety of reasons and issues. So if you're interested, in closing, if you're interested in setting up a counseling appointment, there's a couple different ways to do it. One, you can call the counseling center number at 620-2602, leave a message that you would like to set up an appointment. Someone from our counseling center will call you back probably within the day. We check the phone numerous times during the day. Also, you can email the counseling center and give that same message and somebody will call you back. Or you can go to our webpage, just Google the UNF Counseling Center. We've got a fantastic webpage with all kinds of good information about the counseling center and coping and things like that. And one of the things on there on the first page at the top, there's a request form for counseling services. So just fill out that request form and somebody will get back to you within a day or so about that. So again, I encourage you, I've given you some good information, but our webpage is fantastic and it's got all kinds of information. We're also on various other social medias, so you can check us out there. And if you have any questions, you're welcome to contact me directly or contact the counseling center. So thank you.
Dr. Malec, thank you so much. A lot of great valuable information regarding the counseling center. You know, just to reiterate, that the services are free, confidential, voluntary. If you think you would like to try a session, there's no hassle. If you try the session and if it doesn't work out for you, there's no hassle to come back. You mentioned the different groups, which I thought was really interesting, and that no matter what, there is a 24-hour hotline, which is available to all students. So, and I appreciate you talking about the misconceptions related to counseling. So I think that was really helpful. So I appreciate your time in discussing any of that with us, or all of that with us. Next up, we have Hailey Sackett with the College of Education and Human Services. She is one of our advisors with the College of Education and Human Services, and I'll let Hailey take it from here. Thanks, Hailey.
Hi, everybody. So like Patti mentioned, my name is Hailey Sackett, and I am one of 3 academic advisors that we have in the College of Education and Human Services. I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully I do it right on the first try. Okay. So I am one of 3 academic advisors that we have in our college, but how academic advising works at UNF as a whole is you start out in first year advising when you have between 0 and 30 credits, and that includes things like AP, ACE, dual enrollment, any CLEP courses that you might be coming in with. And first year advising really focuses on getting your general education credits done, helping you explore majors that may be of interest to you. And then once you hit 30 credits, you transition to your college-specific advising based on whatever your major is at the time. So at that sophomore status, you in the College of Education would transition to me or one of our other 2 advisors, and that's when things start to get a little bit more specialized. We start working with you on your prerequisites, any testing requirements that you have, and helping you get into your field experiences and all the way to graduation. Like I mentioned, I'm in the College of Education, but we also have the College of Business, Brooks College of Health, Hicks Honors College has advising with them, our College of Construction, Computing and Engineering, I think I did those in the wrong order, and our, I think I'm missing one, College of Arts and Sciences. So we all have college-specific advising centers. Right now, due to COVID, we are not doing any face-to-face appointments yet. In the College of Education, we start face-to-face advising up again on August 24th. Until then, we are doing exclusively virtual advising. So you can always reach your advisor over email, but we are also doing phone appointments or Zoom appointments. And all of these things are outlined on each college's academic advising webpage. You can, typically the easiest way is to just Google UNF College of Education Advising or College of Arts and Sciences Advising, and that way you can get directly to their academic advising page, which will break down who their advisors are by major, as well as how to schedule an appointment with them. If you are a current UNF student, you can also make an advising appointment through the advising tile in MyWings, and that will show you your assigned advisor and how to make an appointment with them virtually. A little bit about fall course modes. Due to COVID, the majority of our courses are not face-to-face on our main campus, and you will see that as you go to register for courses or as you view your fall schedule. If you are already registered for fall courses, I highly, highly, highly recommend checking your schedule again. As the semester has gone on, a lot of our courses have changed from either face-to-face to remote or to online. So before classes start on Monday, it's best to just kind of double check and make sure that you are either showing up or logging in when you are supposed to. Online courses are typically kind of a little bit more self-paced. You can log in whenever you want, and as long as you are turning in your assignments by the stated deadlines, you are good to go. Remote instruction courses will often show on the schedule as RI, and those will have set dates and times. So those you'll typically either log into Canvas or Zoom during the time stated on the schedule, and you will complete your course virtually. That mimics face-to-face courses pretty exactly. And then face-to-face courses are the traditional, you show up. Typically, if you are a College of Education major, your education courses will be in Building 57, which is where the OASIS office is, where Patti and Jade and I are housed. And your face-to-face courses are what you're typically thinking of. If you have questions about your schedule or about how your course is offered, you can always reach out to your academic advisor. I will throw my contact information in the chat box. But again, if you are a student outside of the College of Education or you're currently advised in first year advising, you can reach out to your assigned advisor and just double check to make sure that once Monday rolls around, you know exactly what to expect with your schedule. One of the next things is My Osprey Network. So My Osprey Network, we just launched this fall, and it is a great way to connect with various offices on campus. So as you can see, our participants in the network include housing and residence life, academic advising, so you'll be able to see your academic advisor on another screen, career services based on your credits and major. It will show you the best person to connect with about resumes, career questions, mock interviews, all that good stuff. Financial aid will have a contact listed for our first year students. After that, the financial aid box will fall off of your My Osprey network, but you will always be able to contact someone in both financial aid and One Stop. If you are a graduate student, the graduate school will be listed in your My Osprey network, and then a connection at One Stop Student Services will also be listed. So again, it's a really great resource to just get a quick connect to one of our offices on campus that are typically some of our more frequented offices. This is a screenshot of what My Osprey Network will look like on your screen. And if you are a current student, you should have a My Osprey Network tile on your first tile pages on MyWings. So as you can see, there will be a housing and residence life contact. The student is advised in first year advising, so their advisor is listed as well as with how to contact them. And if you select first year advising or whatever the title of your advising office is, it will show you how to connect with them. So whether they are virtual, whether you can make an appointment online, or you need to either email them or call their main office line, and they can set up an appointment with you with a specific advisor of your choosing. All of the assigned advisor links and everything in MyWings will be for your current major. If you are interested in changing your major, you can reach out to your intended majors advisors. And again, you can find that just by searching for that new college or that new majors advisor information and reach out to them. But I'm going to stop sharing. So again, my name is Hailey and I work specifically in the College of Education. So if you have any questions about your schedule or about what the fall semester looks like for you, and you are in the College of Education, feel free to reach out to me. If you are not in the College of Education and you just have a question about who to contact, you can always send me an email and I can at least direct you to the correct person, just so that we make sure that you are getting the best information possible. But again, I will throw my information in the chat box so you can reach out to me. And I will also throw a link to our undergraduate studies webpage, which will link all of the college advising centers directly to their websites. So that will kind of be the quickest way to reach out to any of the other advising offices. But again, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out to your advisor because we are here to help you. And we know this is a terribly overwhelming time and nothing looks how it typically does. So we are here to help you in any way that you need it. Thank you.
Thank you, Hailey. And I know I'm a bit biased, but because I work directly with Hailey, but she is one heck of an advisor. And I just need to echo that we all understand that this is a little bit different this semester as either coming into college for the first time or a returning student. So we are all here as a resource for you. You can lean on any one of us, and we'll certainly try to get you the help or answer a question if we don't have it. But I appreciate you, Hailey, going over the overview of academic advising altogether. Specifically, kind of talking about the difference between online versus remote and face-to-face. I think that's helpful. And then the My Osprey Network, which is brand new, and which I think is going to be an excellent resource for all the students. So thanks, Hailey, for going over that. And finally, we're going to wrap it up here with our final expert, and that is Nicole Shervington with One Stop, and she's going to share some of her expertise with us. So take it away, Nicole.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Nicole Shervington. I'm the Associate Director of One Stop Student Services here at the University of North Florida. And I'm going to go over basically what we do and how we're here to help you through your college journey. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Got a short presentation for you, and hopefully everybody can see that. So first things first, what is One Stop? What do we do? We are a group of trained professional coordinators. We consist of about 6 coordinators. We also have our team leads, an associate director, which is myself, and our director, who is Brett Butler. We are located in Hicks Hall, just past Student Financial Services. That's located in Building 53. It's a little bit off campus. You can use a shuttle to get to our location, or if you have a vehicle, use your vehicle to get to our location. We are open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And right now we are available by phone, email, walk-in, and Zoom. And I'm going to go over those different points of contacts throughout the presentation and let you know how you can get in touch with us. We serve financial aid, admissions, and student records within enrollment services. Now, that may seem like a lot, or it may seem confusing, so I'm going to go over what that means specifically. In terms of financial aid, any financial aid question that you have would start with us. If you're unsure of how to apply for a federal loan, or even how to get a private loan into the institution, you can visit us or contact us with those questions. If you've already applied for financial aid and you're just not sure how to get it towards your bill or what it even means, what's the difference between a loan, a grant, that's what we're here for. We also work with our processing team to resolve any issues, problems, complex issues that you may have, or things that may not be standard. If situations have changed within your family and you feel that your financial aid doesn't reflect your current income situation, we work with processing to help you have the most accurate financial aid package possible. We are often in conversation with students and families about their FAFSA and about state aid. So if you're interested in federal aid, you normally complete the FAFSA and you do that online. But there's also state aid available to students, and that includes things like Bright Futures, your state scholarship, also other grants that are offered through the state, and we help families understand what that means or how they may go about qualifying for those items. In terms of admissions, we assist with new student problems or questions. So if you're not sure how to get started, or if you're needing to turn in a transcript, you're not sure which transcript needs to be submitted for that application process to be complete, that's what we help with in collecting those documents. You may also see some of these requirements pop up later in your college life, and it may be because you didn't turn them in right when you started and you're needing to complete a foreign language requirement, or you may end up with a missing documents hold because your former institution didn't send a final transcript. Well, those things would come to One Stop, and we'd help you with getting either the whole cleared or work with your academic advisor to get your degree evaluation updated. So in terms of student records, this is mainly within the registrar purview. We work with graduation applications and information, making sure that you understand and know when it's time to start applying for graduation, where graduation will take place, with the coronavirus and the COVID-19 environment, how that has changed and what that looks like for you guys. We also help with transcript orders and diploma orders and how you can go about submitting those, what it looks like, and the different ways that we transmit that information to either your school of choice or to another individual. We also help with withdrawal, drops, and adding of classes. If for any reason you find yourself in a situation where you have a financial hold on your account and you need to drop a class or withdraw from a class, please contact us before the deadline. We are able to manually drop you from the class. We do need to be contacted before the deadline of that particular item. So before the add drop deadline or before the withdrawal deadline, we do want to help. So just reach out. And then we also communicate important registration deadlines that exist because often they affect your financial aid. So reminding you when the add drop deadline is, reminding you when the withdrawal deadline occurs, when grades will be posted, things of that nature. You'll see communication from our office about that. So what does One Stop not do? We get a ton of questions and we would love to answer them all, but some things are out of our scope of practice. So we are not Student Financial Services. We are not the cashier's office. So unfortunately, we cannot set up payment plans for you guys, but we can direct you to them and they will help you with setting that up or directing you to where you go in your MyWings to set that up. We are not housing or dining. So unfortunately, we can't answer questions about what payment plans may be available through those areas or what services may be available through those areas. We're also not academic advising, so while we will help you with registering for courses, if you're having issues doing it through your MyWings, we will not suggest courses for you to take. We will always advise that you speak to your academic advisor. We cannot speak to how those courses will impact your degree path or your ability to graduate. So always start with your academic advisor there. Unfortunately, we're not parking services, so if you need to purchase a parking permit or have a parking hold of any type, you will want to speak to that department. And the Osprey One Card office, where you get your Osprey ID, unfortunately, we don't have access to the ID number or the ability to reorder those for you, so you will want to speak to business services to get those questions answered. So what does One Stop look like now that we are back in some sort of capacity? As I mentioned earlier, we are available by phone, email, what we call a flex appointment, which is our in-person appointment, and Zoom appointment. And you can make these requests for appointments through the COEHS app that you can find through any one of the Google Play stores or Apple Store. You can download the COEHS app and be able to add One Stop Student Services at University of North Florida. You're also able to get to the app through the COEHS tile in your MyWings. And that will allow you to schedule either a Zoom appointment, which is a virtual appointment, or a flex appointment, which is the in-person appointment. If you're scheduling a flex appointment, please remember to wear your face mask. As long as we are under this current situation, we are asking that every visitor wear a face mask. Unfortunately, if you don't have one, we will be unable to service you until you have one. Flex appointments are for student only, so we are only allowing the student to come into our office. This is to maintain safe social distancing practices. If you and your family want to be a part of the appointment, please schedule a Zoom. A Zoom is a lot easier for us to have everybody in the room and have conversations. And that, again, you can do through the COEHS app or through the CUNF link in your MyWings. As far as email is concerned, I'll make sure to give you our email address before we leave. And then as far as our phone contact is concerned, you will be able to call our number, which is 904-620-5555, and leave a voicemail, to which we are returning those items within 24 to 48 hour turnaround time. All right, so here's our contact information. Please know that this is also available to you guys on the One Stop homepage. So if you go to unf.edu and type in One Stop or click on the One Stop Student Services link, you will be able to see our contact information. Again, making an appointment through Zoom or COEHS, you'll use the COEHS app or use the CUNF tile that's in your MyWings. Flex appointments are in person and our Zoom appointments are virtual. You're also able to text QUNF to 904-204-8214, and that will allow you to join the line. And when you're joining the line, this is for a flex appointment, not for a virtual appointment. Our email address is onestop@unf.edu. And again, you can always call to leave a voicemail for which we will return, and that is at 904-620-5555. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen now. Here we go. But if you guys have any questions, again, please feel free to reach out. I know that everybody on this panel has said the earlier the better, and that couldn't be more true. The earlier you have a question, the faster you ask us, the more we're able to help. Sometimes if you wait too long, it gets a little bit more difficult for us to intervene and really provide the service that you need or the response that you're looking for. So the minute that you have a question, ask it. That way you feel settled in the beginning and not anxious towards the end. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. Words of wisdom, right? For sure. Don't wait. I appreciate you telling us too that the 4 different contact points that One Stop is available, and really covering what encompasses One Stop and what does not encompass One Stop. I know that's confusing to some. And then the COEHS app. That was great. I'm glad you went through that, and that was very thorough, and I appreciate you sharing that information because I did have some questions about that, so thanks for that. So once again, I just want to thank all of our panelists for participating today and giving your time to provide such valuable information to our students. I didn't have a chance in the beginning because I wanted to get started, but I did not even introduce myself, and I apologize for that, but my name is Patti Palmer. I am the coordinator for Career and Employer Services with the College of Education and Human Services. And as I mentioned before, we try to have this free advice session, try to have it at least once or twice a semester, and we thought this was a good time to have it in the beginning of the semester. So I'm going to turn it over to Jade now, who can wrap it up for us.
Hello again. I have to also echo what Patti said. We jumped in right at 4:30. We were so excited to get started that I didn't even say who I was. So if I haven't met you yet, my name is Jade Yuen, and I serve as the college's outreach and recruitment coordinator for the College of Education Human Services. So I get to work alongside Patti and Hailey. And again, we're just super excited that you guys all tuned in for this event. And I've been monitoring the chat and the Q&A, and thank you all for those who have submitted questions, whether it was about financial aid, the OSPRE One card, or different counseling services. So before we sign off, we also want to leave a couple minutes left. If there are any additional lingering questions that any of our attendees had, feel free to submit them in the chat box or in the Q&A. So we'll leave it open for a few more minutes just in case there are any additional questions. We know that you received a lot of information. I'm glad that I was on this call too, because I was jotting down notes along with Patti of different things that we can share with our students who weren't able to be here. And we know that was a lot of information. So as soon as the recording is complete, we will be sure to email it out to all of you so that you can go back and reference any of the presenters or information as you see fit. I also put a couple of emails in the chat. So if you are watching this recorded webinar, you can directly reach out to me, Jade Yuen, at j.yuen@unf.edu. And again, just reach out to me if you're watching this recorded webinar so that we can follow up with you and provide you with any additional information as you need it. So I'm checking to see if there's any more questions. I'm glad that some of you were able to use the information and already go ahead and get an appointment for One Stop. That's great. I will say one question that we've been getting a lot with our new incoming students is, how do I get involved with clubs and organizations? And I will share that depending on the various clubs, at UNF we have over 200 clubs and organizations. So depending on how the clubs want to operate in the fall, there will be opportunities for meetups, social distancing, of course, and a variety of different events on campus in person as well as online. So please go to our Student Involvement Center. If you Google on UNF clubs and organizations, it should take you to our student government page. And then there's a portion that says Student Involvement Center. From there, there's an Osprey Perch logo that explains all the upcoming events as well as the different clubs and how they're going to be meeting. So again, if you just search in clubs on the UNF website, it will bring you to a page that talks to you about what's going to be available for the upcoming semester. All right. Any other questions? I don't see anything in the chat or the Q&A. Did we answer all of them? Awesome. Well, with that being said, we just wanted to say thank you again for tuning in and hanging with us for the past hour to hear about all the different resources and services that are available to you as UNF students. We will be in touch with you soon. So again, thank you, and know that you are supported and that you are appreciated by all of the UNF faculty and staff. So we hope that you are excited about this upcoming semester, and please, 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 as everyone has said, reach out to us. We'll be reaching out to you all soon. Is there anything else that you wanted to share, Patti?
No, I appreciate everyone joining the panelists, and for everyone that decided to tune in to us and receive some free advice. I hope it was helpful.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for tuning in, and we will be in touch soon. And we're looking forward to a great fall 2020 semester.
Thank you.